10 things to help when starting out in Ashes of Creation. These are small systems I overlooked when I first started playing, and things I only learned later from friends and other players in-game. They're easy to miss, but knowing them early makes a difference. So let's start with the first one. Number 1 is glint. Glint is basically Ash's NPC currency. It can't be traded to other players, but it can be sold to vendors for gold. In a way, it's Ash's system for laundering NPC murder into player gold, just with a bit of risk attached. When NPCs die, they have a chance to drop glint. The higher the NPC, the higher the tier of glint they can drop. When you collect 10 of the same tier, you can upgrade them into 1 glint of the tier above. Some tiers of glint take up more inventory space than others. For example, glowing glint takes up 2 slots. So early on, it's better to wait until you have 2 full stacks of dim glint before upgrading it to glowing glint. So I'd recommend upgrading glint in a way that frees up space while you're farming experience. Number 2, selling glint. Early game, glint doesn't have many uses outside of making gold. Because of that, it's generally better to sell it whenever you can. The main reason is risk. When you die, you drop resources, including glint, but you don't drop the gold you've already earned. Later on, glint does become more useful. It's used for things like certifications, crate runs, and paying citizen taxes. But early game, it's mostly just currency. So I'd recommend selling glint more often early on, so you're not risking losing it when you die. Number 3 is death. When you die in Ashes, you drop roughly 20 to 30% of the materials you're carrying at the time. Your inventory is split into items, materials, and quest items. The materials section is what gets dropped when you die. Heading back to your Ashes lets you pick the dropped materials up, but someone else can grab them too if they beat you there. So if you're carrying a lot, dying can actually cost you. Because of that, I'd recommend banking more often, especially if you're farming far from town. Number 4 is looting ash piles. When a player dies, they leave behind an ash pile with some of the materials they were carrying, and the glowing beam shows the tier of what dropped. You can look inside another player's ashes without PvP flagging, as long as you don't take anything. But the moment you take an item or hit take all, you will PvP flag. So if you're anything like me and can't resist looking at other players' dropped items, remember, you can have a quick peek before flagging up and make sure taking them is worth the risk of losing your own. It's a small thing, but it stops you making rushed decisions you can't undo. Number 5 is storage. Towns have a lot more storage than the starting camps, so where you base yourself starts to matter. Because of that, picking a town to use as a home base to store your good items early on is usually a good idea. Storage works a lot like your inventory and is split into 3 sections: items, materials, and crates. Items are globally accessible, but materials and crates are tied to the town they're stored in. You can see materials stored in other towns, but you can't take them out unless you travel back to that location. So it's worth checking what you have in a town before making the run over and keeping track of where you're storing things. Number 6 is item rarity. Ashes uses a different color order for item rarity compared to most MMOs. White is common. Green is uncommon. Blue is rare. Yellow is heroic. Purple is epic. Orange is legendary. And gold is artifact. The key thing to remember is that epic, which is purple, is higher than heroic, which is yellow. That's the opposite of how a lot of other games do it, and it took me a while to notice. So when you're comparing gear, it's worth double-checking the color order instead of trusting what you're used to. Number 7 is trade crates. If a trade crate or box is dropped on the ground, any player can pick it up without being PvP flagged. The only way to get it back is to PvP flag yourself and fight them. But if they don't fight back, you gain corruption. That usually isn't worth it, so make sure you don't drop crates near other players. Number 8 is mounts. If you walk too far away from your mount, it will despawn. This also applies to mules used for crate runs. If a mule despawns, any crates it was carrying will drop to the ground. This usually happens when someone is just missing a bit of materials to craft their last crate, steps away to farm it quickly, and forgets about the mule. So, if your mule has cargo, it's better to keep it with you instead of walking off, and keep an eye out for other players who leave theirs behind. Number 9 is weapons. Ashes doesn't lock weapons to classes like most MMOs do. You can equip any weapon type, regardless of your class. What actually matters is whether the stats on that weapon line up with your class. For example, I play a summoner, which is a magic caster that summons creatures. So even though I'm using a bow, I need one that gives magic power, intelligence, and wisdom. A bow focused on physical power and strength won't benefit my class. So it's always worth knowing which stats your class needs before changing weapons. A good rule of thumb is, if you're magical, magic power is for you, and if you're more of a Hulk smash type, you'll probably want physical power. Number 10 is gear slots. Your character can equip a main hand weapon, an offhand weapon, and a ranged weapon at the same time. You won't always use all of these weapons in combat. But even if a weapon isn't used to attack, it still provides stats while equipped. So keep all your weapon slots updated as you level, and think of unused weapons as stat sticks. I hope these 10 things help you when starting out. If you've got any tips I missed, let me know in the comments, and I'll add them into the next one. Fun fact, you can commandeer someone's rowboat and take them with you, even if they're already on it. Surprisingly good for starting conversations. And thanks for watching.